Okay, I hope you're enjoying these new videos with this video capture software. It's better quality. It takes me about twice as long to load it up, but hopefully you're enjoying it. We're going to look here at usdebtclock.org. Told you before about the US national debt. There it is, over $13.5 trillion and growing. That debt is $122,000 per taxpayer. Some other interesting figures here. Even the interest alone is $1.9 trillion. Look at savings per citizen. It's less than $1,000 per citizen. Most of that savings would be your super rich. Your average citizen probably has zero in savings. They live from week to week. Look at some of the assets they have here in the US, and their assets do not cover their unfunded liabilities. The big bombshell coming for the US economy with its aging population and the promises they've made to those soon-to-be retirees of the baby boomer generation. Social Security liability, $14 trillion. Prescription drug liability, $19 million. Medicare liability, $76 trillion. For a total unfunded liability of $110 trillion, or per citizen of $357,000. Add that to the other, and it's over $500,000 in liabilities by the time you add in local debt and state debt. So it's your local state governments and your local municipal governments, your city governments, they're all in debt as well, so you've got to add that in. Some interesting stats down the side here. The official unemployed, the actual unemployed, the number of retirees, food stamp recipients. Look at that, 43 million people on food stamps. So that's an interesting thing. I'd invite you to go have a look at it. usdebtclock.org. And the shocking thing is the US isn't even the worst. You look at some of these other countries that we'll have a look at. First I'll look at Australia, having come from here myself. See our public debt to GDP ratio is 20%, quite low compared to other countries. In fact, during the Howard years that got down to zero. But with the global financial crisis, they put the country into debt to increase liquidity and fund a whole bunch of programs, most of which were disasters in one way or another. The home insulation scheme, or the where people got electrocuted and died, or the Future Schools Fund, where they build new buildings on schools, and some of the schools got a glorified tuck shop for $1 million. Just ridiculous. Some schools spent their money quite well, but as with any government program, there can be an opportunity for waste or gouging by builders. If we look at some countries here, so although the public debt's relatively low in Australia, the external debt is high, very high, and that represents your private debt owed to foreign citizens. So that might be your credit card debt, your overseas mortgages, your business loans paid for by other countries. So that's quite high. So some would argue that although the Howard government brought this down to zero during that time, they greatly increased this side of the equation, meaning the average citizen was greater in debt. China, as expected, has quite low public debt. The UK, though, well, its public debt's 85%. That external debt, 426, ridiculously high. Basically, that tells me their citizens are bankrupt and don't know it. India, a country most of us would think of as third world, Well, according to their debt levels, they're better off than most of us. Look at that. External debt's only 21%. Ireland. This is something waiting to hit the Eurozone and just cause problems. They thought Greece was a problem. Greece is nothing compared to Ireland. Look at that external debt. 993%. The citizens are bankrupt. No one's just let them know though. They need to tell them, you can't repay that debt. The only way is to start with a clean sheet and start again. As we expect, probably the best one on the table, Saudi Arabia. Very low debt levels, not surprising there. The US compared to some of these countries isn't too bad, even though we had a look at their debts before and said they were unpayable. Look at the Japanese here, 200%. These huge public debt to GDP ratios. And Ireland here is testing the boundaries of how much a country can actually get into debt and how much its citizens can get into debt before it implodes. Be interesting to see what happens there. So just wanted to show that one to you. It's at usdebtclock.org. Have a look. Go through the figures yourself. It may give you a bit of a chilling wake up to the world economy out there, particularly if you live in a country like Ireland or the UK. Think you're living in a wealthy country. Things like that, say you've got a future of poverty ahead of you. And all these immigrants who are rushing to go to England from Pakistan and India. You got to ask yourself why. Their countries are probably better off where they are. They're probably better off where they are. All they're doing by going to those countries like the UK or as Ireland is taking on a vast amount of debt without knowing it. That's my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoy the videos. Feel free to comment, have your own say. If you think I'm just talking a load of crap, then say so. I'm very much of Voltaire's opinion that while I may not agree with what you say, I will defend your right to the death to say it. And we live in a global world full of individuals, and each individual has a right to say something, no matter how offensive it may be to someone else. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in freedom from debt. Feel free to comment. Thanks for watching my videos. There'll be more in future. If you've got any ideas that you'd like to have me go through, anything you want me to discuss, just put it in the comments. If you have any other ideas of things for the channel, particular tourist spots you want to have a look at, or things you want me to video, even gold panning, I've done a bit of that. If you want to see that, just say in the comments, I want to see this, I want to see this. I'll try to accommodate you. Hope you enjoy the channel, and have a great day.